Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania. As new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham, and here with me, as always, Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
I hope everybody enjoyed their July 4th holidays.
Yes.
Weekends. Lots of fireworks going off. Still going off this weekend.
I just heard it just before I got over here.
Oh, really?
It's a little bit more.
It's still going off.
Stop it.
Good holiday, Case?
It was good.
We usually spend with each other anyway, so.
It was a super hot holiday.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Muggy. Really, really muggy, but yeah.
Extremely.
Didn't stay outside for too long until the sun went down, but.
Yeah, it's we're in Kentucky, and it has been like the heat index was over 100.
I mean, it usually gets muggy in the summers here, but that's the muggiest I've ever remember for 4th of July.
Very true. Very true. It's usually later in the year.
Yeah. But hey, fireworks are cool in our small town.
Yes. Hope everybody enjoyed. We are getting back. Half the year is over now.
Yeah.
2018, meaning we're a year and a half away from our next Star Wars film.
Oh, my goodness.
Episode 9, which we've got some breaking news to talk about this evening. And a slew of other stuff, but we'll focus on our topic, our main topic, on kind of the big news after Casey kind of talks about it. But first off, I do want to mention, I do want to give a shout out actually to one of our newest listeners, because I told him about the show. It's an AT&T guy,
Sweet,
named Drew Cruz.
All right.
That I ran into at the store, and he was helping me with, hooking me back up with DirecTV and all this stuff. Anyway, we got to start talking about Star Wars, and I told him I had a show, so he subscribed right in front of me. So I wanted to say,
Great.
I told him I'd give him a shout out the first episode after that, so
Great.
Which is this one. So thanks, Drew, for listening. I hope you listen back if you want to, but thanks for listening going forward.
Yep.
We appreciate it. All right, so Case, I'll hand it over for kind of some big topics here.
Well, for the movies, a couple things for episode 9. I mean, Solo's still quiet for, I think, Blu-ray and all that stuff. But for episode 9, one cool thing I noticed on, I guess it was Twitter. Yeah, I think it's Twitter or Instagram. But Mark Hamill and John Boyega are both doing a countdown to episode 9. I mean, John Boyega, yeah, but Mark Hamill, which is what interested me, he's involved. He posted this countdown to episode 9, which, I mean, he is involved with Star Wars in general, but, he doesn't normally get involved with a specific movie, I wouldn't think, unless he's a part of that specific movie. So, to me, if anybody was worried whether or not he'd be in episode 9, I feel like that was a great indicator that he is going to be in episode 9, for the fact that he's out there plugging it in a way by doing this countdown. So just one small little thing that I noticed, and just some people think, well, of course he's going to be in episode 9. Where it's like, at this point in Star Wars, where all these movies have surprised us or whatnot, or let us down in certain ways, it seems like you shouldn't expect things that happen, obviously, the way you want them to with these movies. Like, you shouldn't expect, Luke to do what you thought he was going to do, and yet you saw what he actually did in Last Jedi, where it's like, oh, of course Luke has to be in episode 9. It's like, well, he doesn't. He very well could not be in episode 9.
That's right.
But I think this kind of makes me feel better thinking that he is going to be in episode 9 because he took part in this countdown. But, yeah, it's just made me think about that. And then...
so right now, as you've dissected that a little bit...
Probably too much, yeah.
Right now... Do you believe that Episode 9 is the end of the Skywalker saga. For good.
For good. Wow.
Like, there is no 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, I think there's.
Do you think 9 is going to be the last of the episodic
yeah, I think so.
movies?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I could see that.
I right now, I am 99.9 sure that it is.
Yeah, because it's just business-wise, I would think that they're getting... I mean, of course, Star Wars they'll do what they want to do. They're Disney, they'll do what they want to do. But it's like they have to at least think like, okay, well, now we got to move on.
At some point, you have to.
I mean, they're sprinkling little things here and there to kind of take us away from the Skywalker clan. But Rian Johnson, the Game of Thrones guys, I think they're going to be the first push to take us away from that. Jon Favreau's show is still going to be in that a little bit in that world, but I think the new series of films will definitely take us in that route. So, which I've been for that for a while. I'm a total fanboy of what they're doing right now, and I love every story, or most of the stories are coming out right now. But I'm totally ready for new things.
Yeah,
so bring it on. I'm all game for it.
Very true.
But that was pretty neat. Little episode 9 hype this early is never a bad thing. But the other thing for episode 9, which isn't Disney confirmed yet, but Variety was reporting that they've got a source where it's saying that Keri Russell, you know her from the Americans FX show. She was really recently. She hasn't done a whole lot of movies recently, I wouldn't think, but she was in the what was it? The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes,
that sequel. She was in years ago. She was in a movie called Waitress. She was in Felicity back in the 90s. So,
which is a J.J. Abrams.
J.J. So,
and Mission Impossible 3.
Yes, absolutely.
J.J. Abrams.
So she's awesome. I've always been a huge fan of Keri Russell. Super excited that she's reportedly cast in Star Wars Episode 9. The only thing that we might potentially know is that she's involved with action scenes, which tells us zilch. But people are already speculating that she could be Rey's mom in a flashback. But hey, that would be cool. But I don't know if I care about that. But or expect that to happen, or if she's even going to be Rebel or Empire, or I guess Republic or Empire. So. Or First Order. So it's the same thing. But
Resistance too. There's no Republic. I guess.
Well, it's still Republic. They're just being taken over right now by the First Order.
Yeah.
But
they're all dead.
It's the new rebellion, part of the new rebellion or the First Order. So we shall see if she'll be friend or foe. But I'm very excited she's in it. I'm sure she is. And Variety's pretty legit, and Keri Russell, it makes sense.
Yeah,
because she's a JJ girl. So super awesome.
Super awesome. And that's kind of will be our main thing we talk about later on is kind of speculations of her character, because I do think she will be in it. Yeah. How much she should be in it, we got to start talking about that.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's movie wise, that's about it.
Last Jedi's on Netflix now. Came last Tuesday, I think.
Yes, you're right.
End of the month, so it might have been a couple weeks, but
I think it was last week. Yeah.
Already saw it on Netflix.
There's a lot of people watching it on Netflix. Yeah. In fact, a guy, a coworker, or a guy that freelances for us a lot, Chuck, said he flew back from the West Coast on Friday, watched it on the plane.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
He liked it. He liked it a lot. But we started talking about it, and I told him the things I didn't like about it, and he's like, actually, yeah, there were a couple of things too that bothered me a little bit. Mainly the space chase, really, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can get by a lot of that stuff, but it's, I won't get too much into it. But when I was watching it, it's funny because I find myself, and I talked with Cody at work about this. He does the same thing where you put on Last Jedi, and you find yourself wanting to skip through a lot of the parts that you don't like. A lot of the Finn and Rey stuff, or whatever, whether it's some of the space. Really, you focus on the Rey and Kylo parts. That's really the only parts that that's like to us the coolest parts and the best parts. The Rey and Kylo. So I didn't skip it, but I would just either walk out of the room, do something else, have it on in the background. But then I'd walk back in and focus on like all their scenes, especially that fight on Snoke's ship at the end. So it's still that's why I do that with a lot of Star Wars movies, though.
Yeah.
So it's not like that means it's bad. It's just.
Right.
Something on to have in the background, but it's cool.
So just in the little things on the other mediums, Rebels Blu-ray, the final season, that of last season, season 4, will be available July 31st. So the end of the month here, you'll get you'll be able to get your hands on the last season of Rebels on Blu-ray, of course, digital release as well. New books coming out. Of course, Thrawn Alliances will be out July 24th. I'm gearing up for that. I'm in the middle of finishing. Well, I'm actually on I got about an hour and a half left of Most Wanted. Mm-hmm. I'll talk about that probably. I should be done with it by next week. Gotta say, it's not the greatest book.
Yeah,
it's taking me a long time to get through it because I'm just haven't been that big of a fan of it so far. So there's some good parts to it, but overall the story's not really into it. I did take the time this past weekend actually, to try to get caught up on something that I do feel bad that we've neglected on this show is the comics. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm caught up on all the Vader comics now. And I've, coincidentally enough, I was reading the 5 issues of Thrawn that's out there. That's an adaptation of the Thrawn novel from Timothy Zahn. I just got finished up to that, and it just so happens those 2 books are releasing new issues this coming Wednesday, July 9, 10, 11, 11th? No. July 11th, yeah. So this Wednesday, July 11th, new books of Vader. Vader 18 is going to drop. Thrawn number 6 is dropping, which is the 6-part series of the adaptation. So it's really good. The Thrawn book, it's what's really cool about reading that is that the way I envisioned it as I did the audiobook, like I'm seeing it on the page, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly kind of how I thought about it. It's really good. So I'm so pumped about Thrawn Alliances coming out.
I read the excerpt finally of that.
It was
cool.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a short little. It's basically the first. It's how Anakin and Thrawn meet.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting.
Yeah,
it does definitely teases me to wanting more. So it does its job.
So check that out. Again, Thrawn, the Alliance is coming July 24. New books, comics this week. Next, I'm going to try to get caught up on Star Wars again. Mm-hmm. Russ, who has been doing some of our reviews, he's really into Poe, which is coming to an end actually. So I'll get into that a little bit more too. But something you brought up, we talked about a little bit last week, is the fan awards coming back.
Yeah, I honestly hadn't even thought about that until Cody put me towards that. And that's all I've been thinking about.
Yeah. So, as if you remember, and what usually happens is it usually happens the year before Star Wars Celebrations happen, because usually the winners are announced at Star Wars Celebration. Mm-hmm. They're not doing that this year, and it's not the Star Wars Fan Film Awards. It's strictly called now the Star Wars Fan Awards.
Right.
And it's still kind of the same thing. You submit films, you submit prints.
It's not just movies.
And a panel of judges votes on them. And again, usually the winners are announced at Celebration. This time they're doing a special episode of the Star Wars show that will announce the winners. I think it's going to be sometime in November, December. I think
so. The official rules, I believe, are coming out here in a few days, but so we'll know prizes and all that. But yeah, there's a 5-minute video, up to 5 minutes, or up to 15-second video. So there's a long category, a short category. There's a photo category and a visual art category. And then within those, there's different, I guess 4 the categories within the subcategories within each of those that you can win. So Spirit of Fandom, Filmmaker Select, Best in Show, visual art, poster art, digital art. So it's tons of ways to win. Very excited about it. We're definitely going to try to submit a few if we're able to. But
absolutely. So deadline, I think, is September or something like that. Is that what you said?
looks like it closes September 17th. It opens July 18th, so it opens here in the next week or so.
Next
and
10 days, yep.
Mid-September it closes, and then the voting opens November 2nd and closes November 13th. Does not say when it'll be announced. It's just it'll be announced on the Star Wars show.
Star Wars show. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 new books got announced this past week that really intrigued me a little bit. I don't know if you saw this case, but
I don't think so.
DK is releasing 2 books, one based on Yoda and the other based on Vader. And it's basically the Yoda book is called Be More Yoda, Mindful Thinking from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. It's really neat. It's basically thoughts and phrases and quotes from Yoda. And then, of course, then there's the other side. It's Vader. It says Be More Vader, assertive thinking from the dark side. So it's like
that's funny.
Inside thinking. And, for example, this page that Yoda...
Dark.
This page that Yoda has is one of the preview pages has got a picture of him and Luke, and it's got the quote, "Clear your mind of questions." And then on the other side it says, "Free your mind from distractions." It has a big excerpt of what that means and how Yoda explains that. And then the other side, Vader, it's got "Make your expectations clear." And the caption next to that is Vader, a picture of Vader from Empire, and it says, "Asteroids do not concern me, Admiral. I want that ship." So it's like, make your expectations clear. So really cool books. I'm actually pretty excited about those, especially the Yoda one, obviously. So they will be released. I don't know if there is a release date for those. This fall, it just says. So pre-order now. You can pre-order, though, on Amazon right now or any bookstore. But those will be coming this fall. I'm looking forward to those. Then the last little bit of news before we get into some of these bigger topics here. I don't know if you noticed, though, it's always been highly rumored that, and not officially announced, that Billy D. Williams is going to be in episode 9.
Yes, actually, yeah. I forgot to mention that.
But you mentioned about the con cancellation, so he's pulling out some cons.
And I also heard there's a rumor that he's in a workout regime as well. So
and we got those rumors about Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
before episode 7 was actually announced, that they were kind of getting back in shape and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's clear. It's pretty clear that Billy D. Williams is going to be in episode 9. So,
sweet. But to what extent, of course?
Yes,
because he's not in very good health, right? Like when he was at Celebration, he wasn't walking around too much.
I don't know. He was here at Comic-Con too, our Comic-Con this past March. I don't know. I haven't really seen him do much recently, so we'll see. Okay, so let's talk about the Resistance stuff. Case.
Very cool. Reddit first kind of scooped it, but it's now everywhere. But there's I don't even know exactly what it was. It's a French expo of some sort that, I don't know why this is the place where they talked about it, but they revealed some first images of the Resistance TV show that we're going to be getting this year, this October, I believe, is when it will premiere. Essentially, it's just a big graphic. On the left half, you have looks like the main characters of the First Order side, and on the right half, you have the main characters of what will be the Resistance side. First Order, you just have a couple stormtroopers, a black stormtrooper and a red stormtrooper, which some say might be Captain Cardinal from Phasma.
Although, that is Phasma too. The black
looks.
Is
it black?
It's chrome. It's Phasma. It's Phasma. See, you can see the cape.
Can't really tell, honestly. 100%.
Black with the red stripe on it. Yeah. No, they're even saying it's Phasma.
Because the Cardinal, that helmet looks more like a Death Trooper helmet than a Stormtrooper.
It does. It does.
But on the Resistance side, we have 5, not necessarily human, but 5 characters, 2 droids. It looks like you have BB-8 there, and it looks like another BB unit behind him. But the main character in the front, and then what I believe is Poe on the back, back left there, and then a few other characters there, and a ship in the foreground, which is a new ship we have not seen, I don't believe. Pretty cool. Actually, the main guy in the front looks a little like Ezra. But the animation style, which looks fine to me, it's not the best quality photo. We heard that it was going to be anime inspired. This doesn't look exactly like anime, but if you guys are fans of the Last Airbender animated show, Avatar, The Last Airbender, which is a Dave Filoni show, he was heavily involved with that. This animation looks very close to that animation, which Avatar was also very anime inspired. So I'm showing Dave a little image of Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's just like,
I bet you that's exactly what it's going to look like.
It looks bright, but the characters and the way that their movement is drawn is very, to me,
so that's
anime,
less
but
3D.
It's not 3D at all. It's 2D.
It's 2D basically. Yeah.
So
interesting.
It's 2D animation.
You think it's pretty much probably what, I mean, that's kind of what it's going to look like.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
So if you guys need to just Google Avatar Last Airbender, the animated series, not the movie, but I imagine that's going to be pretty close to what it is. This 2D, like I said, anime inspired, like what the press release said.
I wonder if that means they can crank those out quicker.
Possibly. I mean, I would imagine they're going to try to change it, the technology or the animation a little bit. Like maybe they'll have some, not necessarily, I guess 3D. Yeah, some sort of 3D, like with the ships and the space. I don't know. I mean, Dave Filoni likes to do things a little different every time he does a show, it seems like. So I can imagine he will just kind of crack open the old animation style that he's done over 10 years ago. I imagine he would take it, but change it up a little bit more. So we'll see exactly how he does it. But yeah, it very well could be a fast production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the this big speculation obviously is the Red Stormtrooper. Mm-hmm. For those of you that have read or have dived into the Phasma novel by Delilah S. Dawson, which I did do the audiobook on that. And the way I reviewed it on here was that the very beginning of that book and the end of that book are really, really good. There's a big chunk in the middle that is kind of long-winded and it's just not really that interesting. But it is a full explanation of Phasma's backstory. A big, good description of her planet, Parnassus, and the whole kind of beginnings of General Hux. He's Hermitage Hux, right? Or he's Hermitage, right?
I think that's right. His father is,
and his father's not Gallius.
Like,
that's
Gallius,
right.
A, but Armitage.
Armitage Hux.
Is
I'm sorry.
in the movie. Right. My gosh, these names.
Yeah. So Armitage, not Hermitage.
Yeah.
Armitage is Donald Gleason's character. Yeah. His father, who was General Hux before him, his name was.
Man, it's killing me.
Yes, I knew it. I was researching it earlier today, and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about him. I can't remember his name though. Anyway, so it's a big. Obviously, it's a big backstory on all that. So, how Phasma got found and came into be of the First Order and all that stuff. Now, in the book, I'm not really giving too much away. I'm just kind of setting out the book. But in the book, the whole kind of the plot of the book a little bit is about a resistance a soldier getting caught and having a bunch of. She's kind of telling the story of Phasma through kind of a backstory, back flashback, and she's getting interrogated by a Red Stormtrooper, which the Red Stormtrooper is referred to as Cardinal. And the Cardinal was the one training the stormtroopers prior to Phasma coming into the First Order. So this Cardinal is basically feeling threatened and feels like there's something there that he could turn her in and get her eliminated from the First Order. So Cardinal, so a lot of people are speculating now that this is probably Cardinal.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I understand, I think there's two Cardinals. Because he's basically the bodyguard of General. Like, he was the bodyguard of General Hux.
Okay.
Armitage's father.
Yeah, Brendel Hux.
Brendel. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Brendel. So Brendel Hux was the original creator and idea of the stormtroopers being stolen from birth and raised and all that stuff. And so when Phasma comes in and replaces him, basically, he gets threatened and feels threatened. Anyway, his name, and I can't remember. I don't remember them actually mentioning his name that much in the book. They probably just did it once, but his real name looks like it's Archek. So anyway, I would think it's probably him. Because this show is what, like 5 or 6 years, 7 years before?
I would say it's at least a year or two after Bloodline.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're about 4 or 5
years before.
Yeah.
So very much like Rebels leading up to
yeah.
episode 7.
Geez, yeah, this could back up right up to Force Awakens.
Pretty much.
Or I guess, yeah, and depending on how involved Poe is, it could back up to Poe's comic, which that leads right up to.
Yeah, true.
Force
Right.
Awakens.
So I'm pretty confident that that's probably Cardinal.
Yeah.
I mean, Red Stormtrooper makes sense, but you're right. The helmet is not like a First Order helmet. It's more like a Death Trooper helmet, which is I think that's not accurate then, because I think the red.
It's supposed to be a Red Stormtrooper helmet.
I think on the back of that Phasma book,
Yeah.
it actually has the First Order Stormtrooper helmet of the. So
he's got different helmets.
So maybe they changed it up a little bit. That's interesting. So I mean, until I guess, of course, until we see anything or hear anything, it's all just expectations. Or
We've got to get something soon, because if this is coming out in October,
this thing's fall. Yeah, this thing's premiering this fall. So definitely. I mean, I guess Comic-Con's in like 2 weeks. I don't know if we'll see something then. I don't think they're going to be there, right? I don't think they're at
unless it's,
I don't think they're at Comic-Con, but they might drop something that week anyway.
Let's say this is going to be Disney XD. Probably. Has that been announced yet?
Hasn't been announced, I don't think. But I'm assuming it would be.
Yeah.
No, actually they did. I think announce that it was premiering on. It premieres on XD, and then I think it actually ends up on Disney Channel.
Probably, maybe
starts to premiere on Disney Channel.
Disney has a not panel, but if Disney has a presence at Comic-Con, because I don't think Lucasfilm really is. So if they talk about it through another studio like Disney,
maybe
something like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right, big thing. So let's talk about this Keri Russell thing, because this is already starting a ton of controversy and speculation. And of course, we're going to speculate, I think, right? I mean, I think, well, first off, I don't. Do you think? I mean, do you have any thoughts of who you think she's playing? Right off the bat,
I just don't know why, because who she normally plays, I feel like she'll be a good guy, because she's such a good guy. I don't know, but I don't know specifically.
I've never seen The Americans, but is she bad in The Americans?
I never quite can tell, because I haven't seen it either. But it's like, is she bad or is she good?
Is she a spy for the Russians, or is she a spy for the Americans?
You know what?
For the Russians,
I don't know,
because I
think she is a Russian.
I think she's a Russian spy, isn't she?
She's a Russian spy, I believe. That's what I'm pretty sure what it is.
So she's
living in America, so she's kind of a bad guy. But maybe it's like she's trying to get at. I don't know.
Or is she American posing as a Russian spy, posing as
speculating about a show that's been out it's already done. It's like wrapped its last season, so it's almost done. So like I'm speculating about a show that's long been around. So I don't know, but you know what? That's totally Googleable. But I just immediately lean to good guy on the good side. You know, maybe part of like one of the other armies or that the Republic is trying to recruit or the New Rebellion's trying to recruit. But yeah, I can't see. I think they have enough bad guys. I think they need some more good guys because there's only like 6 of them left on the Millennium Falcon. So need some more good guys. I don't think she's Rey's mom. I don't think it's anything like that. I hope that she, regardless of who she plays, which I again I hope it's a good guy, but I hope she sticks around. Like I hope she's not just a one-off character, kind of like Holdo was. Exactly like Holdo was, but I hope she becomes part of the new ensemble because she's just so good, and I love everything she's in. So I hope she sticks around. But she could be. Because I kind of imagine like episode 9 being where the New Republic, the new rebels, they're going after these different groups, these different armies, or whatever, trying to recruit more people to fight the First Order because there's no one left. Because at the end of Last Jedi, they sent out that signal. People heard it, but they didn't respond. So I imagine like Lando's gonna be one of those people, and he'll have his group that will lead and help the fight.
That's
and
true.
then Keri Russell, I imagine, might be another one of those people that they recruit to help.
So technically, you're saying you're leaning towards her actually not being a very relevant character.
Like tied to anybody?
Well, what I mean by relevant is you think about, and this is kind of where I was having some conversations with people about The Last Jedi. Last Jedi introduced a couple of characters. Introduced Holdo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Admiral Holdo. We actually got to see Snoke,
Right.
but both these characters are dead.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings up the, Holdo thing, like, how important or how relevant did her character become, and could it have been, because I've read some things where I've read some articles of people saying how it would have been more impactful if Holdo, like what had happened with Holdo and how she sacrificed herself, it would have been more relevant if that was like Akbar that did
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a chance to really grow a relationship and a fondness for Holdo, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So so if you think back to the original trilogy and even the prequels, which obviously were all done by Lucas, whenever a new character was kind of introduced, they played a significant. I feel like they played a more significant role in the storyline of what was happening. For example, Lando Calrissian in Episode 5.
Yes.
A new character introduced, ended up being a very relevant character. You had other characters get introduced, and they were subsequently part of the storyline, aka Jabba the Hutt, even the Boba Fett a little bit. You get into the prequels. You had your core characters. Your other ones that were kind of introduced were more or less the other Jedis, and
Right.
But the ones that did get introduced, like Dooku and some of the senators, I guess we've seen a lot of them weren't really introduced as significant parts. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, I don't remember in those movies really one character coming and then ultimately going.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Bale was introduced in Episode 2. Obviously, he played a significant role in what happened. Mothma shows up at the end or in the middle of episode 6, but again, she's not a relevant character. She's there as a person to let you know who's kind of running the rebellion, right? And there's all that mystery around her back. I remember back in the 80s when like how significant is she, But Holdo was, you had that one kind of weird scene with Poe where she kind of put him in his place.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Poe's like getting a mutiny going against her. And, anyway, then she does the ultimate sacrifice, but it has a good moment with Leia, but it's like, I don't know. You just don't know really about her.
Right.
And again, we get finally in person introduced to Snoke. Ultimately, he ends up getting killed. I'm just hoping Keri is. Yeah. I'm wondering if that's worth. Like, I mean, Laura Dern is a very big actress,
right?
So I understand getting first-rate talent if they accept the job to do it. But I just want her to. I kind of feel like right now I want her to be a more relevant character.
No, that's exactly how I feel. I want her to stick around. Talking about the future, and you asked me a few more episodic films. No, I don't think there'll be 10, 11, 12, but I hope there's more movies that continue with these characters. Like Rey, I hope that's not the last movie with Rey and Kylo. Whether or not they live or die, I don't know. We'll see. But
Kylo's gonna die.
I don't know. I don't think. I hope. Please, I hope not. That can't be the way out. That's not.
But anyway. To me, that's the only way. That's the only way you end the Skywalker saga. Is that the last Skywalker has to die? Because I think if Kylo lives on, I think they had to do more Skywalker movies.
Yeah, but they're not. I wouldn't feel like they're necessarily about the legacy of the Skywalker family. It's just new. They're just new things. They're just
I
new
guess.
Stories.
But he's the evil. He's the evil Kylo Ren still, or do you think he turns? We got plenty of time to talk about that.
But no, I hope she sticks around because I hope there's more movies with some of these characters because I want to see more. I want to keep going later in this timeline. So, I hope. Yeah, it's like casting Benicio del Toro as DJ. It's like, oh, he's so awesome.
See,
who's he gonna be?
I was gonna go down that road.
Yeah.
That's very true.
It's
because
he's this kind of random codebreaker guy that may or may not pop up again. It's like, man, he's so good. Like I want even as DJ, like he had a quirky way he played him, but I actually would like to see him come back. I would like to see him get involved again and almost be that Lando type of character.
Yes, but I read somewhere that now again this is early, but I read somewhere that he has no plans of returning to Star Wars.
Right.
But he said he would.
Yeah.
Now see again, so if DJ doesn't show up in episode 9, was that character
no
I mean
he has no relevance
to
the story.
The whole series.
Yeah.
It's like I mean he could I guess pop up like you said somewhere else in a comic or a book somewhere, but it's like
so separated from these movies. It's like, well, you don't need to know his backstory because here he is again years later. Oh yeah, I knew Finn once. That's it. It's like like there's no connection.
I think I helped him, but or tried to, but I ended up getting paid, and but I don't see. Again, you get Benicio, you get Laura Dern, you get some major A-list actors, but you sign them for a couple days to work, and I don't know. I wish those characters were. I wish those characters were more important to the overall story than just kind of cameos. That's what they feel like. They feel like just cameos.
Yeah, that's good.
And I don't want Keri Russell to be a cameo.
Yeah.
Now I do right now. I would say, I'm leaning heavily that she is a significant character, and I'm leaning heavily right now that she is related to Rey.
You think so?
I am because I obviously we'll save this for another longer episode, but because I gotta believe that the Rey's parents is that storyline's not over.
I don't think so either. And I'm not just being optimistic. I feel like I'm being logical and saying like that can't be the end of it.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to it.
That's got to be the middle trilogy twist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
exactly.
They're throwing it at you, saying they're dumb or
Yeah.
they're not relevant. They're not coming back. Move on. But it's like no, I think there's something else there.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying, which I feel like is Rick Ryan Johnson's like, any ordinary person can be this wonderful hero, which is great. You know, I can be a broom boy, you know, kind of thing. So, whatever they're trying to say, it's fine. But I keep getting hung up on the Cave of Mirrors scene where she sees those two shadows and they become one shadow, but she ultimately sees herself. But still, it's like the way, like, to me, like, if you're being real symbolic about it all, why did she see two figures, you know, become one, and then it was herself? I feel like, to me, that just means either she's, again, back to the chosen one theory, or her parents out there that, I don't know. There's got to be something else to it than just that. But
I mean, could it be possible? I'm just throwing it out there.
Dead or something, I don't know.
Could it be possible that Luke was in a relationship with, let's just say, a Mara Jade or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And if it's Keri, let's say it's Keri Russell, she gets pregnant, but doesn't tell him, and then kind of because she knows that he's dedicated to the Jedi, trying to figure that out still, because he's, for it seems like 20 years he's been kind of just trying to figure it out, but then decides to go to a remote place like Jakku to have the baby, but then after a while ends up feeling like she can't support her or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a reason that she's a Skywalker, but he doesn't know, right? I don't know. Could that be? I don't know.
If they still try to make her a Skywalker, fine. I'm fine with that. At this point, I don't think she is at all. I don't think there's a way they can. I mean, there's a way, but I don't think they would. There's no ultimate plan of like, she's a Skywalker. I think they're past that. But if they ultimately do it, I'm not going to complain about it. She's a Skywalker. Cool, great. I kind of thought like, what would I like to play with story if I were doing it was like if Keri Russell is a Force user, maybe she's kind of. Maybe she trained with Luke somehow. I don't know. Like during that 30-year gap, she worked with Luke, trained with Luke a little bit. I don't know, but she wasn't there when Kylo killed all the other Jedi. She maybe had an outing with Luke and went off on her own or something. I don't know. It'd be cool if she in turn became like that physical mentor for Rey, where Luke comes as the spiritual mentor as the Force spirit. But then you have almost a battle of like, how Keri likes to train her apprentices versus how Luke likes to train his apprentices, and who does Rey kind of learn from and listen to, and you have somewhat of a conflict there. Or maybe Keri Russell is a Force user, but is on that verge of that dark side kind of way she likes to use the Force and way she likes to operate doesn't align with the Jedi code, so then you're going again down the dark side path.
Yeah.
So I think there's
I just think
a lot
that
of ways you can do that.
Yeah, and I think that her likeness is very similar to Rey, So, because there was no casting speculations during episode 8 that led you to believe that they casted her parents at all or anything like that, right? There was obviously always speculation that you could learn about who they were, but not physically see who they were, or maybe they were people you didn't know. They were kind of no-name actors,
right?
Not that actors have no names, but not familiar actors.
Yeah, there you go.
But Keri Russell, is a strong actress.
Yes,
and she has. You could definitely buy that Rey would be her daughter. But I do like your idea of her being, just a kind of a random rebellion leader, but I think I think that's. I mean, I hope. Like you said, I actually hope that that's the case with Billy D, with Lando. I hope Snap comes back with a bunch of people, but Keri Russell, I just hope that she's more important than.
I think she will be from here on out.
Yeah,
I would like to think, but
I don't know. I just don't know how much. Yeah, I'm curious to figure out. Really sit down and think about what could these characters do beyond this movie.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking of like if this is the end of these episodics, which I do right now believe that it is. I kind of think that what would be incredible is, so you remember the rumor in episode 8 that we had talked about for a long time, which was obviously the Chosen One rumor, right? Mm-hmm. And the fact that it was rumored for a while there that we were going to see a bunch of Force ghosts.
Right.
Well, I kind of feel like if you think about how episode 6 ended, this almost could ultimately do that also. And it's kind of almost pointing that way when you're talking about a rumored Obi-Wan appearance, Luke coming back, which would be a Force ghost.
Yeah, Yoda's already around.
Could Anakin show up?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somehow the ending would be, these Force ghosts kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking like all these people making an appearance at the end, which would be pretty incredible.
JJ could definitely play it safe again and do episode 6 movie, again. So
in a sense, yes, the final battle.
Yeah.
I mean, the galaxy gears up for a final battle, and
I don't think there were many people saying it, but I think there were still some comments that Last Jedi had some Empire Strikes Back story elements to it. There was
training
and the reveal of the parents, and Rey
in the
her
cave.
Training. Yeah, so
you're right.
There's a lot of similarities there again, but there's still, I think there's a lot of non-similarities that justify
it. Didn't end the
same
way. Well, it kind of ended. I mean, they
lost.
What are we doing now?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Definitely lost.
But it's just I think JJ. Obviously, the script's done, so it's already planned what it's going to be. But it will. I do believe it will be that kind of like Jedi, where it kind of brings you back up and it stores the hope and the satisfaction of an ending. And do you think though? Do you think? Because you remember there was an interview or something like that JJ said he read episode 8 and was like, "Wow,
yeah,
I wish I would have. I was doing this movie.
He was doing it, yeah."
Do you think that he still feels the same way?
Well, part of me thought like maybe the readers read it wrong, and it's like he didn't wish he was doing it because it was so awesome. Maybe he wished he was doing it so that he could make it better. It's like, dang it, I need to do this because he's ruining my trilogy idea. But
because that was before he was signed on to do 9.
Yes, it was.
Right? Okay, so
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
But do you think how much?
There.
Really, how much percentage-wise do you think? Do you think that when he got the job, when he decided, okay, I'm going to do episode 9, how much of the movie that he thought would be 9 is going to become 9? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think he honestly had too many. I think he had some ideas of how it could pan out.
Do you think that he knew where it was going to go when he did 7?
I don't think it was necessarily decided 100%. I think he had his ideas of where it would go.
And I'm sure the story group had to have some type of runway of where this thing was going to go.
I feel like I've read this too somewhere. I don't know, but I think they give the filmmakers of these movies a lot of story creativity of where it's going to go. There's certain characters that they can or cannot mess with in terms of their fate, that kind of thing. But if they create their own character, they can do whatever they want with
right.
them. but like you bring, I don't know, you bring in,
But like,
yeah,
like Lucas, when he did 4, 5, and 6, he had an outline.
Well, it's his.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
there's an outline because there's a major.
Yeah.
In a trilogy, there's a big story.
you typically have your story. I know because I read something with I think it was Simon Pegg talking about he had discussions with JJ on Force Awakens set about like how it would go, and the rest of the movies, and like Rey especially. And I think he said he and JJ talked about how Rey, her fate will go, and it's not going that way right now with Ryan Johnson's movie. Like it's already going, but like again, I take that with such a grain of salt in saying like they just had
Didn't
ideas.
know.
They didn't know like, hey, I think Rey could do this, or she could, her path could be this, or her parents could be this. Maybe, but we haven't written it yet, so we don't know for sure. Of course, who said it? Leland Chee or someone said like, if it's not written, if it's not on the screen, nothing's set in stone yet.
Set in stone, yeah.
So. Yeah, JJ probably had
But
some
don't you think
ideas.
there's a lot of issues? A lot of issues come up with that, though.
I definitely think
if you don't have a path,
Yeah,
or an outline, because
Yeah.
I get it that you don't have the full elements and
Yeah.
how you get there is not determined, but there's got to be the ending.
yeah,
Like everybody's got to know, okay, we're headed here, and how we get there is
yeah.
because
you would think that there is that strong ending. And I don't know if that question. I don't know if that question's been raised, asked. I haven't seen it anywhere to the story group or whoever. Like, is like you don't have to say anything, but yes or no. Did you know the ending of episode 9 when you started episode 7? At least the fate of these characters. Did you know? Already you don't. That changed with Poe because he was supposed to die in Force Awakens.
yeah, I mean,
And then he
probably
survives, so it changes.
that's why I think it's more or less what happens to Kylo and Rey.
Kylo and Rey, yeah.
That's really because I think in the original trilogy is what happens with Luke and Vader.
Yeah.
Because ultimately Vader gets redeemed because Han Solo was apparently maybe supposed to die. So I think you got to focus on who the story's mainly about, the Skywalkers. So what happens to Kylo ultimately in this? Ultimately, because I believe this trilogy is about Kylo Ren. Rey, whether or not she becomes a Skywalker or not, I think she's actually more of the secondary character. So I think his fate is determined. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. I believe he's going to die to end this thing.
I definitely think that maybe JJ is picking up 9. I hate to say doing damage control because Last Jedi is still a good movie in my opinion, and Ryan did his own thing, and I have every admiration for him for doing his own thing. But I feel like JJ, in a way, is trying to fit Ryan's path into what JJ originally thought it was going to go. I think he's going to try to steer it back to how he originally thought, while not kind of rewriting or bashing or damage control correcting what Ryan Johnson had done, if that makes sense. So I don't think JJ knew Rose was going to be in it, or that whether or not Holdo plays her fate or legacy plays a factor. I don't think he knew Ryan Johnson was going to create a Holdo character. I don't think DJ. So maybe JJ will bring DJ back. I don't think that was a part of it. Maybe DJ will be a huge character in episode 9. I don't know. So I think he's going to use some of Ryan's stuff, but make his own.
Yeah, and actually you brought up Rose, which is I completely didn't think about her, but that was another one that. Now she was like her character. See, it's subjective, but like her character was supposedly making a difference. I don't think she actually made a difference,
Right?
Because ultimately their mission didn't do anything.
Right.
I do think it's possible that she gets a Lando type role in episode 9 where she's leading some kind of group, and it's like she's got her she's a little bit more part of the Republic or the rebellion, whatever. So she could end up being that type of character, I think. So
The one thing I like that how she ended things with The Last Jedi, and what I feel like Ryan Johnson was trying to say is, she saved Finn at the end. It's not. How did she phrase it? It's not about. It's basically saving the ones that we love. It's not fighting what we hate. But to me, it was in a way it was saying, stop sacrificing yourself
Yeah.
You know, we need to save ourselves and save others. You know, so that to me, it's like that sets a groundwork of like there's not going to be any more people sacrificing themselves, like a Holdo moment, because that's just we want our heroes to survive. So
was it fighting, not
I think
fighting what we hate, but saving what we love,
yeah,
or
exactly.
something like that. Yeah.
So it's to me, I like that because thinking there are people, I don't think a lot of our heroes are just going to die because they're sacrificing themselves. And so this is kind of a separate thought that I had while watching Last Jedi again. But one good thing
I'm just curious. I am excited to figure out if we're going to have that, like, ending celebration.
Yeah.
Like we do almost in.
Yeah, we might.
Because with a final battle, is everybody, is a lot of people going to die in this?
That's what 9 needs to do, I think, is show the state of the galaxy a little more. The original trilogy didn't do that, which is fine, but they had their celebration. Prequels did that a whole lot, and some people, I think, I don't know, for some reason hated it because we saw it so much, but like we need to see different corners of the galaxy. We saw Canto Bight, but I do want to see different areas of the galaxy and see how the First Order is rising up in these different areas of the galaxy, because that's what is happening. People may forget that, but if you read the crawl again for episode 8, it says already at the start of 8, Snoke is sending his different cells throughout the sleeper cells, basically throughout the galaxy, are now waking up and rising and taking control. So we don't see it, but there's a lot of crap happening around the galaxy right now. These different First Order groups coming up.
And there's no republic.
There's nothing,
there's no army.
But see, that's another thing we need to answer is the planet is gone and most of the Navy, but there has to be people out there as well.
Right, there has to be, but all the senators are dead.
Senators, chancellors, the government's gone.
The government's gone.
So there's all that's
no
protecting them
government.
is the.
But wouldn't you have like
a
designated survivor? Like
funny.
you have like a
maybe he was on the planet still.
I guess on the moon over.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're safe enough. But
that's true.
I gotta think though, because the Bloodlines, there was no central army though, right? There was no.
No, it was a navy.
Yeah,
but
there wasn't like a republic, not the Republic Army. It wasn't like that from the prequels. Not like all these hundreds of thousands of clones and millions of clones.
No, as far as I know, no.
So probably the only thing that's protecting all these planets are the planet's security forces. Each planet's their own security force, and then maybe some remnants of the Navy out there. So there really isn't that much.
I mean, that's a good question. But I don't think it's been answered, or maybe it has. But yeah, what did they do with all the legion of stormtroopers? I mean, most of them got killed on the Death Star,
arrested, whatever. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
ran away at the end of.
But did they cease? Obviously, they ceased the stormtroopers. I think it went down to more back to policing, local police and.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
But they had a navy, a military, looked like kind of Star Destroyers type ships or cruisers or whatever. Yeah. But all that was destroyed. So
probably more diplomatic than military, because I think that was the thing of Bloodline Wars. You had the centrists and the populace, where I think the populace seemed like it was the more majority, where people were trying to argue of like we need a more central navy, military army, but populace wanted the opposite. So I don't know, a little tangent, but that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, very
the
interesting.
state of the galaxy, and we haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, very good. Well, that lots to talk about, obviously, in the coming months leading up to episode 9. More than likely, we won't. They start filming, I think, in August. Very shortly here, and because I think you've seen, if anybody follows John Boyega, he's working out and doing some stuff. So he's getting ready. Episode 9 is shooting here soon. I have a feeling that if I know JJ, which I know JJ, he's going to start pushing this thing a year before, like he did with episode 7.
But you know what? For the sake of saving face and bringing the hype back and getting rid of this fatigue, let's not be as secretive about things. Like what I mean though is, if Luke's in it and if he's a Force ghost, then show Luke early on as a Force ghost in the first trailer or something. Go ahead and show him so that people can get excited. Or if he does something cool, just show a little bit of it. because that's one thing. It's like that. I think will bring a lot of people back. Is
Yeah.
showing that it's like okay, at least we'll get this in episode 9. We'll get Luke doing this. I'll be excited. I can't wait to see that. Mm-hmm. You know, we need to get we need to bring some hype about that. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, I think you remember the teaser for episode 7. I think the big hype and excitement with that was seeing the Falcon.
Yeah. With
the Star Wars music, you know. I mean, that was that got people hooked right off the bat. So that's true. If you can do that again,
they still got some nostalgic on their side in terms of bringing up the hype. So,
but JJ is so secretive.
He is.
Even with 7, it was still somewhat secretive.
Yeah,
and
some controlled leaks.
Yeah,
a little bit more controlled leaks here, just to bring it back. With just show Lando, you know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Show him a little bit.
I agree. Yeah, totally.
Maybe
agree.
that's it instead of Luke, but
Totally
do something like that.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We got a year and a half until that comes out. Of course, next year alone is massive for Star Wars. You got Celebration. You got Disney Parks opening up. Got episode 7. You got streaming service.
D23 is that year? Yeah.
D23 live action series. I mean, it's just 2019 is going to be unreal as far as Star Wars goes. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week to talk about whatever news is hitting our waves. Of course, again, Comic-Con is the next big Comic-Con coming out. I don't know if we'll... I do feel like, most studios and whatnot, if they're not there, they kind of release things that week because everybody's looking for it. So don't be surprised if we get kind of that Resistance stuff coming out sometime around Comic-Con, even though they might not be at Comic-Con. Can't wait to see what that's going to bring us. All right, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. Go to InsideTheForce.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Inside the Force. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play. Go subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know you like us. Give us a rating, whatever. Do all that, please. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope everybody has a great week. For Casey Cooley.
Gosh, I've been so caught up at...
Oh, you don't even have a quote ready?
I have a quote, man, but I'll think of something here in a minute. But if you want to go ahead and sign off.
So, InsideTheForce.com. Go check us out there. And he's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DCottingham21 on Twitter. Go check out the JediTrials.com if you guys are Star Wars Destiny players. That's the card dice game for Fantasy Flight. Guys, our buddies D-House and Mike the Rebel Spy are your co-hosts for that. They've got a YouTube channel going now. You can either watch them on YouTube or subscribe on iTunes to get that series, get that show. Great insight into that. Big Star Wars fans, those guys are too. Go check out the new film coming out here, Star Wars Odyssey, coming out soon. I've been going back and forth with Mark, the director. We're going to get him on here very soon. They're finishing up some visual effects still, so the movie should be out here very, very shortly. But go to Facebook and check out Star Wars Odyssey for that. All right. For Casey Cooley.
Yeah. The strongest hearts have... The strongest stars have hearts of Kyber. That's what it is.
Strongest stars have hearts of Kyber.
We're talking a lot about Kyber crystals again, especially with this fan awards. Trying to think of some
shorts. But very true. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. For Casey.
Bye, everybody.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force within all of us.